Happy you. I'm going to give you some time to see if the comments are working here. Let me turn on the chat. Hello. I am happy to be here on a coldish day in New York. I hope you're all doing well and having some fun quilting. I have not done much quilting this week. True confession. I've been in my nest on my sofa, so I'm back here today. So leave me a comment when you get here to let me know if the comments are working, because sometimes they work from one platform and not from the other, and it's always easier to know that I have somebody that can talk back. Talking to dead air. Sandal, hi, happy to see you. Thanks for letting me know it's working. And so I got one from hello Annette in Florida. So I see YouTube and at least one of the Facebooks is working. Hello. So I am cozy at home with a cup of tea. Excuse me. And it is 15 degrees out. Now, I know most of the country is cold, that it's unusually cold in some places. So 15 is not that unusual for us in January, and I'm not out in it. So it's a beautiful day. Hi, Angie. It's good to see you. And hello, Patty in Ohio. Um, so I came to you, I went live on Tuesday last week because I had to go to the back doctor on Wednesday and get some shots. And they are supposed to work, or there's a potential for them to work long term. They have not. This one worked for 24 hours, but it gave me 24 hours of perfect painlessness. It was amazing. I cleaned my house. If you had a perfect day, what would you do with it? Because I chose to clean my house because it really bothers me that I'm not as mobile as I want to be. But it was lovely. And while it was going on, I said, if it works, um, only for one day, I'll be happy. And it worked only for one day, but I was happy. Hello, Carol. Sunny but cool. Yeah, I hear people complaining about how cold it is. I was talking to my friend in Texas a couple days ago, and I think on Monday, we were 27, but she was 24. So it was even colder in Texas than it was here. It got to them first. Sorry, my glasses are dirty and you look all spotty. So that was just a joy. I was really tired by the end of my 24 hours. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go quilt. Well, no, I went to bed. But it was a wonderful 24 hours. And I changed my sheets. I didn't change my sheets at all in 2023. That does not mean that my sheets were not changed. It just means I did not do it because I couldn't. So I was like, oh, I ended the day even on a high note, changing my sheets. Um, my husband has been great about doing what I can't do. Missy, you are in Forsyth, Missouri, finally up to 35. Yeah, it looked a little cold over the weekend. 35 seems like a nice high for you. Um, so with the cleaning, uh, when I'm in my nesting, when I notice that I'm not cleaning because I can see the room around me. And I'm like, I could go pick that up off the floor, but I can't. Um, so I've been trying to do like little bits. I'll like, when I go to make a cup of tea, I'll go do this. When I go, I'll do this. So that's kind of one of my New Year's resolutions. Do you have any New Year's resolutions? My New Year's resolution, another one was to not ask my husband for help. Well, that didn't last very long because I got hurt. And apparently today's the 17th. So Monday, I think, was the day that everybody gives up on their New Year's resolutions. So, one, did you make any New Year's resolutions? And two, have you given up on them yet? Because I've had to give up on it. Reality has to hit. 26 in Ohio. Frozen pipe fountain in New Orleans. Oh, yeah, it's not supposed to be that cold in other places. Like, I know my friend in Texas, her house isn't built for 24-degree weather. She doesn't have the insulation. And I mean, my house was built in New York and we have cold winters, but even when we rebuilt our house, we did more insulation, just to try to keep things even and keep the heat from causing ice damming and things like that. So we did a lot of insulation work just to make the house warmer and cooler. Sandal, you heard someone call them intentions rather than resolutions. I like that. And let's see. So it's my New Year intention. Okay. And let's see. Carol said, you don't make resolutions anymore, so you don't feel guilty when you break them. Um, one resolution I always make is to gain weight. Always. Because one, if I break it, I won't be upset. And two, it's an easy one to fulfill. Let's see. I've got some Florida. The low was 42 and the high today is only 52. Do you realize when the high is 42, I don't wear a jacket? Unless I'm Wisconsin, because it was in the 30s and 40s in Wisconsin, and I needed a parka when I was out there because it gets a little windier there. The 40s, 42 degrees was a different amount. Um, let's see. Angie, it looks like you and I have the same idea. You've resolved to gain 20 pounds and eat nothing healthy because that's an easy one to keep. And if you break it, you're happy about it. So yeah, I kind of work that same way too. Um, so I have to live in reality as we all do. Um, my resolutions for quilting were to get 2 quilts out a month, and I wanted to have another one out today that didn't happen, just again because I've been nesting a bit. Um, but I still hope to have a second quilt out, which will be a cutie quilt. And let me see if I can show you a picture of what the quilt will be. Let's see if it's here. Talk amongst yourselves. Is it there? It's one of my ones I did when I was in Wisconsin, but I'm not seeing it on my computer. It's on my phone, and I don't want to pull up a phone picture to show you. But it's a black and brightly colored cutie quilt, and it's stepping stones. That's the next one I hope to quilt for, to get quilted. Let's see. And hello in frigid Wisconsin. Yes, frigid in Wisconsin. I was there in December when it wasn't that cold, but the temperatures felt different there because you have that wind thing going, that lake thing. Um, one thing I have been doing is I've been doing some knitting. So this is what's this called? It's a hitchhiker scarf. It's kind of fun. This is just something I had yarn for, and it's good to keep my hands busy. I made the first one of these for myself, and it's still on the sofa because I wore it yesterday. So it's just a real fun garter stitch with some edging, and it's really a neat pattern the way it's made. So I highly recommend the hitchhiker scarf. And this yarn was really cool because my friend Karen is one of the owners of Pick Up Every Stitch, which is a yarn store in Mount Kisco. And Moondrake made this yarn for her, and this was dyed to her colors, and a commercial yarn. So this was called Karen's Pearl because her puppy's named Pearl. And it was just a beautiful yarn, and I had to have it. And I wear this anytime I have a plain top on, not with a sweatshirt. Let's see. Lucy, and the warmest room in your house is the sewing room. Your stash is extra installation, and Jack Star is your favorite. Thank you. It's one of my favorites too, if not my favorite. My sewing room used to be the warmest, except the heat is broken in there and needs to be replaced. So that room's kind of cold. So that doesn't help. Let's see. Pretty yarn. Yes, these are both pretty yarns. This is, like I said, this is a Moondrake hand dye, but a commercial hand dye. And this is leftover from something else I made. I had a couple skeins left, and it was just something to keep my hands busy. But it's a real fun one to do. It has an 8-row pattern, and I'm like, I'm never going to be able to memorize this because 1 row you do this, and 2 row you do this, 3, 4, 5, 6. But then, yeah, it's real easy to memorize, and I could do it without looking. And I have the coolest thing. I have a ring row counter, which I absolutely love. And I gave them to my daughters for Christmas as well because they both knit. And it's just so neat to have it. I can wear it either my ring, my index finger, or my thumb because 8 of my 8 of my fingers wear the same size, and then I have pinkies. So I can wear that ring anywhere, but it's just great to knit and turn it, and you can feel it. So you can do it without looking. You can feel that it's turned one. Hello, Miss Linda, a friend up in New England. It's good to see you. Let's see, 5:40 in the morning in Brisbane. I do one 5:40 a day, and it's not the one in the morning. I had to get up early yesterday, and I was not happy about it. And by early, I mean like 7 o'clock. Who's up at 7 o'clock in the morning? I mean, I used to be because I traveled, but I've been home for 4 years, and I'm now like 9, 10, and especially now that my heart's not working so well, I get very tired, so I just sleep if I'm tired. Let's see. It could class up a sweatshirt. That's true, and if it gets cold in here and I need the heat, I will. Yesterday, I did something crazy for the heat. I was out in the morning and I had snow boots on because I had a doctor's appointment I had to go out in, and it was actively snowing and the roads were bad, and I left my boots in the basement. Now, stairs are hard for me because I'm very short of breath with my heart not working very well. So I was in socks on this floor. Now, my bedroom is upstairs, and that's where all my shoes are and my slippers and anything. So I had winter boots in the basement, which were down a flight, and all my other shoes and slippers were up a flight, and I couldn't do a flight. But I found in my laundry room a pair of rain boots. So I was wearing rain boots to keep my feet warm yesterday until my husband came home to rescue me and got me some shoes. Well, happy New Year to you too, Miss Linda. 2024 is going to be a good one. I've already decided. And Patty, you like the picot edge of my scarf. I do too. It's a little classy. It's just one extra, like make one at the end of the row, knit in the front of the back of the stitch. And when you cast off, it just makes that little bubble at the end. I like it very much. So I've been doing that. And yesterday, like I said, I was out snow driving. Now, I haven't driven in the snow in 4 years. I haven't driven anywhere like to church and maybe go to my mom's, but haven't done much. And I had an early morning doctor appointment and a midday doctor appointment yesterday, and it was snowing and schools were closed, and it was a long, slow snow, like I don't know, 3, 4 inches. I wasn't out to measure it at the end, but no more than 5. But it snowed all day and the roads were horrible. Um, but I just bought a new car that has all-wheel drive on it, and I got, and I had to go to the first doctor appointment in the morning. So I was out driving slowly, and then had scheduled to just kill time between the doctor's appointments so I didn't have to come up the mountain, go back down into town. And then I said, wonder if they have cancellations. So I went to my second doctor appointment just when I could get there, and they took me in. It was great because people had canceled. I'm not much of a snow driver. I know how. I've always lived in mid-Atlantic or Northeast, so I know how to drive in the snow, and four-wheel drive's pretty nice. I like it. Um, the problem, though, is they have TVs on in the waiting rooms. And for those outside the US, we are in American football playoffs right now, and we play with the brown ball that has points on the end. Yeah, and I'm a fan. And I'm originally from Pittsburgh, a city in Pennsylvania, and the Pittsburgh Steelers were in a playoff game on Monday. It was rescheduled due to the Buffalo blizzard that was there on Sunday. So anyway, I had my terrible towel up. It's still here waiting to be put away. Like I said, I'm a fan, and it was not a pretty game. I was not proud of how our team played, and I still love them, and I will always love them, but it was not a good game. But 2 doctor's appointments yesterday, waiting room, and they had this sports reports on talking about the highlights of that game. Like, it wasn't bad enough watching it the first time. So yeah, it was kinda ugly, and at the second doctor appointment, they're like, "Ooh, we should put on HGTV for you to, one of the home improvement shows or whatever." It was kinda funny. So yeah, all of this stuff was fun. I didn't mind driving in the doctors. I mean, driving in the snow or to the doctor's appointment. If it was a blizzard, I would have stayed home, but everything was absolutely fine. My life is kind of perfect. So I'm not, anytime I say any of this is only because I think it's funny, not because I'm really complaining. And when the worst thing that happens to you in a week is that your sports team doesn't win, it's a good week. So I wanted to talk to you about how I want to quilt our newest, what's it called? Our newest color block quilt. So I will pull up a picture of that. Where is that? I'm coming. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves. So I talked last week about thread color, and today I want to talk about what I want to quilt on there. So this is the quilt I'm talking about. And to be honest, the quilting's not going to show very much. And I don't like that I say to be honest because I'm always honest. But anyway, the quilting's not going to show very much. I chose a background that's kind of busy. And I chose it because I thought it looked like snowflakes. They're dandelion heads, but it looked like snowflakes. And I thought it would give a strong showing against the creamy snowflakes. But I could quilt anything on here. It's not really going to show. So the only people who will care about what is quilted on here are the people who are quilting it, which would be me. Whenever I give this quilt to somebody, they won't go, "Ooh, I wish you had chosen option B or option C." They won't care because it's about the quilt. They're not going to notice the machine quilting. And that is true with most quilts, to be honest. Why do I say that? Most quilts, the person who's doing the machine quilting is much more obsessed with what the quilting looks like than anybody receiving the quilt. Now, on a show quilt, that's entirely different. And what I do, doing all of the videos for y'all, is I try to do something different each time so that I'm not doing, well, let's put meandering on this one. Let's put meandering on this one. Let's put meandering on this one. Okay, I kinda do that whenever I put ribbon candy on everything, but that's because that's the way God wants it. It's the way it's supposed to be. But as far as quilting quilts at home to give us gifts, usable quilts, no one's really that cares that much. Um, so let's see. I got some comments. The Eagles Tampa Bay game was ugly too. There were some rather uneven games in this weekend's games. Um, and it was kind of the way football should be played, because I'm a football fan back from the 70s when the Steelers were winning all the Super Bowls, and I enjoyed seeing the game in Kansas City with ice dripping off the mustaches, and I enjoyed seeing the fans throwing the snowballs even at the Steelers game that they lost horribly, and it was not a stellar performance, but they're throwing snowballs. So I love the cold games, the sliding in the snow, the bad field conditions. I like old-timey football, but there was a lot of uneven games this weekend. And Lois Ann, I will pay you for this later because that's what I want to play with today. So let me go to my drawing board, and my pen doesn't work, so we're going to have to draw with my finger on the screen. Just be aware that it's not going to be the prettiest look. So let me go find my drawing board. Here we go. There. And let me try to get the draw with, let's see, draw with a black, draw with touch. Okay. So talking about the asterisks, this being an asterisk, left, I'm drawing with touch. Why is that not working? Insert, no, draw, black pen, draw with touch. Don't tell me this isn't working. It worked before. I tried it before I came on. There we go. Awesome. So this is an asterisk. Left, right, diagonal and across, diagonal and across, and then keep going, assuming I came in that way. That's the asterisk. Now I have stitched asterisk quilting on a quilt back in maybe June of 2021, so the first year, and I did it in rows. I went down a quilt, did an asterisk, went down like that, and then I moved over and I did another row. And this was done within the blocks. So I went like in the middle of each of the pieces like that. I don't want to do that again because I've already done that. Like I said, it's a great challenge to my brain to try to come up with something different. But I do think the asterisks will look good. Let me come back and check comments because I can't see you right now. Nope. Let me go back to my drawing board now. Okay. So what I was thinking of doing is a meander and an asterisk, and then a meander and an asterisk, because I think I've done this. I know I've done it on a quilt, but we just had a snow day yesterday, and then we had a snow day again last Sunday. So we've had two snowy days. So I've had to cancel. We've canceled church, 2 evening meetings, and a day of school so far. And today was a snow delay as well. And when the snow really gets blowing, the meandering like this can be cool. And then an asterisk every once in a while is one way to do that. But I was thinking of more blowing that rather than that single line. So coming in and back a third time, and then the asterisk. And then a little meander, a little more meander, a little more meander, and the asterisk. Let me switch over and check comments to see if you had anything on that one. Okay, so I see snow flurries, or how about adding a swirl occasionally? Yeah, like I said, I was thinking of making this look like meandering and uh, like a triple meander and then a snowflake every once in a while. Let me go back to the board. Let's see. Pamela, I like that. I don't normally care for meander. Let me go back to the board and clear this out. Now I'm drawing with a finger, so it's hard to do things tiny. So if I do a little meandering, ribbon it back, an asterisk, and then a little more meandering. And I think I do like that, and I will try with a swirl. So I do like that. Um, and I think it can make meandering a little easier because for people who struggle with meandering, which by the way is about 8 out of 10 people. Um, so with meandering, you can end up getting lost or painting yourself into a corner. But here you only are stitching a little bit of meandering and stopping. Make your asterisk. And now you stop when you're done with the asterisk and think about, where do I want to put my next meandering? So I could come down here and go back up. Okay, I'll stitch that. I'll stitch that. I'll stitch that. Finish my snowflake and think about where the next one goes. Well, I'm going to go up and to the left. Like that. So that might be an easier way to get into meandering for people who are really have trouble with the spacing of it. Like I said, the majority of people. So it's not like you are a remedial quilter if meandering's hard for you. Meandering's hard for most people. I was a weird one that it made sense to me. Now Wishbone still can't do it. Let me come back to, and Angela Walters makes that look so easy. Let me come back to the screen. Let's see. Oh, Sandal, you struggle with meandering, but could do the triple meandering in the asterisk. Yeah, I thought that would be interesting. Now, I can also go back and play with the swirl. So let me clear this off. When I do a swirl, I do like elements, and I know I've done this in the quilting classes, where I do a swirl, come back out like this. So how would I add a snowflake to that? Now, remember, I'm drawing with my finger on a screen. It's not ideal, but I think that could work if I did a snowflake at the end of every swirl and then echoed around it. Let me come back and see y'all, see if there's any comments. Let's see, Patty, you have a deal with the daughter. She knits. She knits scarves for me and I quilt her quilt tops. We both do what we love. I love that. I happened this 2023 was the year I got back into knitting. Like I made a sweater when I was recovering from my first major bout of COVID. I made another sweater the next time I had COVID, and I've actually made a third sweater, a couple scarves, a few. I made a sweater for my granddaughter. Um, and I gave it to her at Thanksgiving rather than Christmas because it wasn't going to fit by then. I'm glad I showed it to her. Yeah, whenever I saw them for Thanksgiving. Let's see. You like the wishbone and enjoy quilting it? Well, now you're just showing off, Sandal. I just cannot. It's just not something that works in my brain. And I'm glad it works for you. Because again, everybody has something, everyone's will have a favorite way. Like, how do you take your coffee? My coffee tastes a whole lot like tea because I don't drink coffee. Let's see, Linda, you love that combination. Yeah, it'll be one of those, and the video will be in the class, and the class is free. So that's what I was thinking of. I could have done straight, like, let me stop sharing now. I could have done the linear ones like I did back in for the Snowball's Chance quilt that I did I think that was in June of 2021. So that was back in Color Blocks Volume 1. I'm renaming them Volume 1, 2, 3, and 4 just to keep it simpler. And doing them in rows makes it easy because you can follow along and you don't get lost. So I will either do the swirls or the meandering. I'm still leaning toward the meandering. Let's see. Oh, Sandal, you like ribbon candy too, and it's fun to quilt? It could be fun to quilt ribbon candy, but I'd have to think about how to do that. I would do rows of ribbon candy and then maybe I'll play with that. Let me go back to my board here. Okay. So I can do ribbon candy. So when I do ribbon candy, I can do leaves in the middle. Like that. Can I do a snowflake? No, because that looks like one of the monsters on Bugs Bunny. And let me find it. So there was a monster in the Bugs Bunny cartoons that had hair like this. And he was a hairy guy like that, but it was red hair like that, and that's that's what that ribbon candy reminds me of with the star in it. So let me go back, draw with this. No, I'm not seeing it yet. Where would you? Ooh, wait, I had a thought. Where it touches. As you're judging me harshly, remember Thomas Edison said he now knows 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb. I might know 1,000 ways not to make snowflakes and ribbon candy. So I'll stop sharing and come back and say hi to you. Hi, Maria. I'm glad you're here. So that's what I've been playing around with. I'm not to the point where I'm quilting every day. I think if my sewing room was warmer, I would be. So my husband and I are talking about getting the heat in there sooner rather than later. Let's see. Oh, you did love that one. Okay. I'm not sure it was my favorite, but I'll try it. I did like that playing in the middle. Let's see another comment. You did some vertical lines, but instead of asterisks, you made circles. They look like bubbles for a fish quilt. Very cool. I've done that on a quilt I called Flip a Coin, and it was in a grid, and there were circles or lines. So it was either a circle with a line in it or just a line every inch on the quilt. And to me, it looked like those groovy beads back from the 70s in the doorways, just the curtains. Yeah, but it does look cool. I like that. Let's see. You don't think ribbon candy works with snowflakes? I'm with you on that, Sandal. But that doesn't mean I can't think about it. I didn't like it. But um, I think we have some good choices with doing the swirls or doing the meandering. Let's see. Maria, when you got on, you were mentioning a ring for knitting, and I missed what the purpose was for it. Okay. So I have this ring for knitting, and it has 2 rows of numbers, and I can turn them. Let's see, there's a starting point on here, which is probably, where's the starter? Here. So I'm on row 2 right now. And when I finish, let's see, I can go to row 3 and just turn it. Oh, I did it the wrong way. But anyway, it works, and it helps me keep track of the rows because that's an 8-row pattern. And I never have to go back and count it because I'll knit, and every time I switch the knitting around, I just turn it once, and you can feel it. There's a resistance. So it's not like I had an old one, but it would always turn itself. It was an old plastic one. So yeah. So that's what I use the ring for. And again, it fits all my fingers because all my fingers are the same size. It's very convenient. Where did I find it? I got it at Pick Up Every Stitch in Mount Kisco, New York. You could probably contact them through their website and ask if they can send you one. And you just need to know your ring size because they're all different sizes. Mine's a 10 or 11 just because I have these gigantor hands. What's really funny about these hands, and I talk with my hands so they're showing in the video, I do not have pretty hands. My hands are like boxes. My fingers are short and fat. And I'm adopted. So grew up in a family that I'm not biologically related to, but my mom and sister are biologically related, and they have these hands. They have these long, thin fingers, and I think their wedding rings were like a size 4, and my wedding ring is a size like 11 type of thing. I have these hands. So, and they have these gorgeous nail beds that just look like model hands. Now, being in my sister's older than I am, and then mother's obviously much older. Our hands aren't as sexy as they could be anymore, but they had model hands, and I don't. I have these really short, squat, flat nail beds, and short, fat hands, short, fat fingers. But I was mentioning that to someone once, and they said, yes, but look what beautiful things your hands can do. And I've never complained about my hands since, like inside my head. My hands don't bother me anymore. Number one, because they don't work very well, but when they do work, I can make them work. So I'm grateful for that. And I get to do stuff with them. So they're very useful hands that get to do stuff like this and the quilts and things like that. And my mom and sister, again, have beautiful hands, but they are not crafters. So I think they do wonderful things with their hands, but my hands, I'm not looking at them compared to anybody else's now. I'm looking at them compared to myself. My hands do beautiful things, and therefore they are beautiful hands. So that's my hands. Hi, Tracy. I'm glad you're here. Tracy, you want to tell us where people can find you? Because you have some cool stuff going on. Do you all know Tracy Mooney? She's got some neat stuff that she does. So if you want to just pop an @ on here where people can follow you and see what is new. Tracy's a friend of mine for a lot of years, so it's good to see you on here. Um, let's see. I was listening to a podcast this morning while I'm waiting for Tracy. I was listening to a podcast this morning while I was not getting out of bed about what you have to do to be happy and what makes you happy. And all I could think of is, what makes me happy? Sandwiches and pizza, because I had a sandwich when I got up and I'm having pizza tonight. Is anybody else in the bread makes me happy category? I couldn't think of anything else. They were talking about being present in the moment and showing your love and what makes you happy. And I'm like, a sandwich would make me very happy. So Tracy Mooney does things over at Keepsake Quilting. So go on your favorite social media platform and follow Keepsake Quilting, because Tracy's got some cool things coming for y'all. She's just a real neat lady if you haven't met her yet. And you can also find me on Instagram at So Supportive. Thank you, Tracy. Again, good stuff going on. You should definitely check her out. So yeah. Thank you, Tracy. I'm glad to see you here. I get so blown away at the famous people who check me out. Like last week, as I was starting to say goodbye, Kimberly Einmo came on, and we were talking about her fabric, because I happen to have had her new fabric line sitting within hand's grasp of me. So I can't believe this is my life and that these are my friends. Like I said, my life is pretty perfect. And it's even perfecter because I get pizza tonight. I make a homemade pizza on Wednesday nights because my husband has a video game date every Wednesday night. So he rushes home from work and sits down at the computer, and starts gaming. And so I make pizza because he can eat that while he plays video games. Excuse me. And that means I get pizza on Wednesdays, which is exciting for me. Anyway, pizza is the best. And you know what I put on my pizza? Gluten. I do not do a cauliflower crust. I don't do any of that. I put all the gluten in my crust, whatever that is. And then we get to put toppings on. So anyway, that's what I have to look forward to today. And until then, I'll just kind of be looking around and playing around online, maybe writing next month's pattern for color blocks, because the quilt's already made. And it might have something to do with a holiday. So you might want to make color blocks with that color in mind, because next month is February. And I know you're all trying to figure out in the States what color to make for President's Day, but there might be another holiday in February that people can make color blocks for. Gluten is delicious. I agree entirely. I've eaten vegan and vegetarian, and I have wheat gluten as an ingredient in my house if I'm making seitan. And I asked my daughter if she wanted some, and she was like, "Oh, we're trying to avoid gluten right now." And I'm like, "This is probably not what you want then." So yeah, I do all the gluten and then more gluten. Don't have a problem with gluten, because gluten makes food taste good. So enough of this. I will talk to you again next week. Let me check the calendar to make sure I don't have any doctor's appointments on Wednesday. Let's see, what day is today? Today is the 17th. So next Wednesday, I will see you at 2:30 in the afternoon. I will be here on Wednesday, and eventually I will send out a newsletter. But until then, find me online at Debbie Brown Quilts on all your favorite social media, and check out DebbieBrownQuilts.com. And also click for the online classes button at DebbieBrownQuilts.com. That's where you'll find all the classes. Sandal, how did you guess that there's another holiday that isn't President's Day? Have a great week. Happy quilting, everyone. And I hope to have some more quilts to show you next week.